Hello, everybody, and welcome to the deck retrospective of Eric's Feast of Hemlock Vale Blind Run. This is one of my favorite videos. This is the campaign retrospective because I talk about ARKHAM a lot, right? Yeah. And I love hearing other people talk about ARKHAM because it's more interesting for me to hear perspectives of people that I enjoy listening to their perspectives on things. It's more exciting for me. So with this one, Eric, I'm going to throw this to you before I ask you any questions or anything. Finn, your deck, what did you think? Show it off. Talk about it with, you're in charge now. I'm just going to sit back and watch and nod along.
I liked about 70% of my deck, and there were about 30% that I either didn't know how to play and so didn't, or found that it ended up being dead weight, and I really wish I'd switched it out earlier when I'd thought about it.
Okay.
So first off, just so everyone knows, I was playing Finn McCool, bootlegger, so my whole thing was about evading and trying to get value off evading. And it was a pretty fun deck. I made a huge pivot right at the end, which I'm going to talk about now because it has opened up a deck playstyle to me that I'd really like to give a try. Because it was a lot of fun for the entire 3.5 minutes that I was alive during the campaign finale of Hemlock Vale.
Yeah, so we'll try to keep the spoilers for the campaign, our play, and also the campaign generally, but there might be some light Hemlock Vale spoilers in here, but nothing too specific. But yeah. Go on, we did kind of get bodied in that last little bit.
I died. So I bought very late game, Another Day, Another Dollar, which is you begin the game with 2 additional resources. I really liked that. That felt really good. To balance that, I also had 2 Faustian Bargains and 2 Hot Streaks, which I drew all of in the final scenario and was just like, okay, I kind of like big money.
Yeah.
I really like the Hot Streaks as well because they remind me very much design-wise of the Netrunner cards from Fantasy Flight games where you had to pay resources to gain resources. So I really enjoyed that, and that immediately made me go, okay, I actually want to play this. To go along with that, I put in 2 High Rollers. As you can see, I just splurged XP at the end there just to suddenly become a big money deck. I played one of them. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. I would love to try it out again, especially with the regaining of the 3 resources. That feels really good. Up next in my deck was just pure value. I bought Lola Santiago early on, and I never regretted her. She was probably my favorite card in this deck. I loved playing her. I loved getting her out into play as often as possible. Being able to buy clues is absurdly strong. I loved it. I had 2 upgraded lockpicks, so I did upgrade into these. I thought they were really, really good. It's nice to have a card that has supplies, but the supplies are really a question of if you mess up.
Yeah.
And in a Finn deck, it doesn't feel like you're going to mess up too often. I think I had them fail once, and that was at the end of the campaign.
Yeah.
I think at most I might have lost 2 resources off of lockpicks total.
Yeah.
They felt very strong, very powerful in the Finn deck. Quick thinking. I wanted to like more. I really love it. I just wasn't playing around it very effectively. I feel like it's a 2-card in just to guarantee that you get that other turn, which feels really great when it goes off, and it did go off for me once or twice. I just was often in situations where having a hand size was important when I had them in my hand, so they didn't fire very well. But still, incredibly strong card, especially for no experience. Just feels like a really good card.
Yeah.
Because I'm Finn, I had 2 deductions. Oh, thank you. Deduction just feels good.
Yeah.
I just wanted it. I would have had more if I could have. I took 1 elaborate distraction. Which I really liked and really wanted to have play out in certain scenarios. I did get to use it a few times, and it felt good every time I played it.
It was also a card that if Eric drew in the longest night, we would have won. It was a little tense moment where we were trying to see if we get it, and unfortunately, we didn't. But it was kind of fun to have that moment together where it's like, well, if we top deck this card, we're going to walk away winners here, which would have been really cool.
That is exactly the reference I was making. Yeah. That was the one where I was especially just like, I'm so glad I took this.
Yeah.
I had 2 daring maneuvers. Interesting card. I don't think I was entirely the right deck for it.
Yeah, because your deck started with the philosophy of combining skills together and then like jumping those skills back to your hand, right? That was like the starting philosophy for your deck.
Exactly. And yeah, I think there is a deck out there that loves Daring Maneuver and plays it a lot more than I did, but I was not a gambling deck.
Yeah.
I was switching into a big money deck, but I was largely about combining two skills.
Yeah.
So I don't think Daring Maneuver was necessarily worth the experience I put on it. It was still good when I played it. It's nice to get that card draw. But Daring Maneuver for me effectively was just fix lockpicks or avoid lockpick loss or throw away a card for no value to gain a card. And there's a much better card for that, which is just get 2 to investigate, draw a card.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't have necessarily put that in. I had slipaways. There was never a point where I really needed it, but I did like it.
Yeah.
I did like having it. It felt like a good safety tool. Justin was just really good at keeping monsters down, and when Justin wasn't good at keeping monsters down, I didn't have slip away. So it never quite panned out.
That does sound about right. Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. I probably should have had something of greater value in here, but it was also nice to have the attribute fixing, especially when I was already combining skills.
Yeah.
So occasionally I did just throw this in there because it was effectively too wild for me whenever I was doing anything I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But not the worst, not the best. Breaking and entering. I really liked breaking and entering. It worked really well with my deck. It was one of my early upgrades. I wanted it every time I saw it, and I played it super often.
Yeah.
There was never a point where even just playing it only to gain the foot icon before I could get Lola Santiago out.
Yeah.
Or before I could get other combining effects out.
Yeah.
There was never a point playing this felt bad.
Yeah. And you can see the through line from the Daring Maneuver, why like the Daring Maneuvers make sense. And the theory that Eric's deck started as Eric, you said, kind of warped into a big money deck, which you were kind of like not really like jump. I think like you said, trying to big money again from the start and like building that big money is going to be a lot more engaging to see the payoffs to that as well for you.
Yeah, totally.
Because if you liked it, it's even just that, you're going to like it when you really start putting everything together.
I had 2 Thieves Kits. Really, really good card. That was fundamentally the reason why I stopped caring as much about the Daring Maneuvers, is because Thieves Kit just was good value without needing a Daring Maneuver.
It kind of replaced your lockpicks, right?
Exactly.
You're kind of looking for that over lockpicks. Yeah.
And so it just felt good. But even with lockpicks, it also just... I was often so up that the chance of me being under by 2 never really felt like it was worth having Daring Maneuvers around.
Yeah.
B&E was the card I was really wanting Daring Maneuvers for.
Because then you could keep it back in your hand, yeah.
Exactly.
For sure.
I had a Savant. This was a card that I wanted more of. I should have had more of that card.
Well, this was your first investigator that you ever played with one brain, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you were basically just like, you draw a willpower treachery and you're like, I guess I'll die. Yeah. And it happened.
It happened, quite often. I wish I'd had more of this. That was really good. I had a Grift, and I don't know why I never replaced it. I really should have. I never liked having Grift. I think it's a good card. I think it could be good, especially for a... No. It's best in Finn, I think, and I just didn't like it. I just didn't feel it. It wasn't a card that I really liked. Speaking of a card I would have replaced for Savant, I have You Handle This One, which was another one of these cards where I was just like, when I want this, I don't have it in hand, and when I have it in hand, I don't want it. So I think I played it once, maybe twice the entire campaign, and it was just not
I think
win.
that You Handle This One is you don't want to feel like you want to take me down, but the reality is as soon as you see a treachery you don't like, give it to me no matter what.
100%.
And like getting into that greedy thing, like the me first is a hard part of Rogue when you're first like starting to play it. So I think if you ever play a low brain Rogue again, take You Handle This One, and then as soon as you see anything you don't like, just give it to me.
Fair.
Because it's better if someone else draws it than you. And like that's how rogues think, and most of the time it's true.
That's fair.
Right?
Maybe my threat assessment might have been really off, but I often didn't have it in hand when bad things happened. And so I was just like, well.
What's also all those you can use. I mean, we had a little bit of an awkward thing between our 2 investigators, where it's the thing that we've kind of been doing for the last few campaigns, where we're both like, we'll flex, but then we actually don't.
Yeah.
Right? We just say we're going to. Like, our flex for this was that you evaded, and I could get clues, maybe, right?
Yeah.
So, like, that makes it... Because, like, say, for example, you were just a pure Clover rogue. You draw an enemy, and you can be like, this is yours now, right? Like, that's where that comes in. But because, like, you saw an enemy, and you were like, I can handle this... It made it harder for you to actually give it to me, right? But if you didn't want to see enemies, that's a good way for you to just not see an enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Least favorite card in my deck. I should have taken it out a long time ago. I put so much experience into it. Super disappointed with it.
Yeah. Damning Testimony. I actually just finished a run where I was playing Damning Testimony, and I put all 10 XP into it. And it was fine, but yeah, it's pretty disappointing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite card. If the monster killer is doing a good job, it will never trigger.
Yeah.
With Finn, in theory, there's that synergy of you getting the free evade.
Yeah.
So you want that. But
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Did you have a hard time finding the desire to play it because it cost 4 resources?
Yes.
Yeah. It's very expensive.
It's very expensive.
Yeah.
And like I upgraded the investigating. I tried to upgrade into a keyword thing.
Yeah.
And then I just stopped.
Yes, because you're just like, there's nothing here.
I'm not enjoying it. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It turns out, as Finn, that I actually just didn't want monsters around. You did a great job with that. So all of my cards that were like, hey, when a monster's nearby, I was just like, why? Why are you in my deck anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even though it's having them in your deck in the final scenario, but it's hard to like spend XP to remove a card you put XP into, even if you don't like it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what would you have done differently? Because
I would have gone harder on rogue cards and a couple of other splash cards that would have made me into a better Clover.
Nice.
The fact that I only have 3 out of color cards, I think, is a weakness of me building Finn's deck and then removing some cards. I should have had more red and I should have had more yellow in the very minimum. That could have really upped my survivability in a lot of ways. Some of those like survivor low hanging fruit cards feel like they would have been really, really strong.
For sure.
And I wish that I had focused more on card draw.
Yes.
I felt that I was very weak on card draw and that a lot of my abilities were really great when they came out, but I either didn't have money for them or it still didn't help tempo for me to have to draw a card.
Yes, because having to spend time to find the things is a lot harder than just finding the things through good card draw.
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty good lesson to take from that. No, I liked the deck. I thought it was pretty good. Hemlock is a very interesting campaign because it's very XP low. You only get six scenarios out of it, right? And I think, unfortunately, the campaign exploited a weakness in both of our deck's constructions in the long term.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at it slice by slice, I would say overall these decks were successful, but they weren't great, right? Because we cut it close on a few scenarios. I actually think our most standout performance was in The Longest Night.
Oh, I felt so good in The Longest Night.
Yeah, because you got that while being frozen in fear.
Yeah.
Which is really, really impressive that we were able to do as good as we did with that.
But I did really enjoy playing it. As much as I think that the deck had a lot to learn, I had a lot to learn about building the deck and piloting it. I had a lot of fun playing it.
Yeah. I'm having some issues myself where I've been looking back at my decks for this, and I just feel like there's been something tough. I feel like for this next the next campaign we do, you and I just need to not try to flex. We just need to choose a role and be like, I'm only doing this role. And I think that might help our problems a little bit.
I agree.
Because if you think back at it, Forgotten Age, Path to Carcosa, and Dunwich Legacy, we each hyper-fixated. We hyper-focused, and those went pretty well.
Yeah.
And then Circle Undone, like, all the other things, like, we weren't doing bad, but I think that ultimately, because you're still trying to figure out the best balance for your decks and how you like them and play them. And my flex decks, I built for 2-player, I build a lot with me as the other flex.
Yeah.
So I might be trying to just, like, assuming things are going to work out when they actually won't, because I usually build the other deck, but because I'm not, I think I need to adapt, and I still have to figure out the best way to build a flex in this team comp. Because it's very interesting.
In a way, and it's not this is not a perfect phrasing, but I think you need to be doing more to carry me in a weird way.
Yeah, like in a non-bad way.
Yeah.
Right? I need to like
who was that Millstone deck, your Norman deck?
Yes, the Norman Withers, where I had the stone that I crushed people with.
Yeah, and I think I was playing Luke.
Yeah, no, you were...
Was that Stella?
No, who were you? Who did you play in Carcosa?
I don't remember now.
You played Stella and Dunwich.
Yeah.
And you played... no, you were Dexter into Leo. Because Dexter died.
Right, because Dexter died. I think more stuff like that it would be good for us, mostly because it also gives me more time to upgrade early decks into something that's strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well...
You heard it here on the channel, folks. New player says to experienced player, play more combos.
Yeah. I mean, if you want me to... but I know what you're saying, right? Because, like, you don't want me to do it all.
No.
Like, you don't want... I mean, it's like one of the things where I'm not, like, telling you what to do on your turns. I sometimes say, like, hey, you're missing this. This could do this. Mm-hmm. But, like, even in, like, some scenarios, I'm like, I feel like we would be in a better place if you were getting a clue here. But I don't want to say that, right? That's not the fun way to do it. You have to... Because you're getting good at ARKHAM, and each time you play, you're getting better and better and picking up more combos, right? But you might be right. I think I might need to just, like... maybe next time we go you fighter, me Kluver, and then I can dictate the pace of the game, get experience, and you can just kill things that show up, deal with the enemies.
Or even if we do the opposite, much like that Norman deck, because I think originally you flexed into being able to kill with Norman shockingly well with those grindstones, and that worked just fine for us because I think. I'm not saying I'm not saying I think you need to carry the game. No. I'm just thinking, I need to go a bit harder. Yeah, I'm not as good at flexing as you. So as you can see.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that sounds fine for me. I mean, I'm excited for the next campaign. Mm-hmm. I've been debating pulling out an Amanda deck.
I don't know what that means.
She is the strongest investigator in the game, in my opinion. She can turn everything into fucking dust. But a lot of people don't like watching me play. So I brought her recently to another YouTuber's channel, and afterwards he's like, I don't think I need to see anyone play Amanda in a long time. She's just like disgusting, like how good she is. And she just got a card that made her very strong. But at the same time, I don't really want to force you to watch me play Amanda, because she's...
You play Amanda, I'll play Gloria.
Oh, yeah. Just destroy it.
Let's just destroy a campaign.
I mean, I actually think that's what you should start doing, too, is you should play an S-tier investigator. Mm. Like, one that, like, at least in, like, the Travis, Bryn, or I, demo... Bryn's a little bit... We love Bryn, but he likes to troll people a little bit.
That's fair. Yeah. And I'll choose the one that Bryn suggests, which will only make it worse.
Yeah. But, like, find, like, an S-tier investigator and just, like, experience high-power ARKHAM, so you can, like, find those things to get there. It's not Amanda because she has such a low floor. You can crash and burn with her incredibly easily. I
love it.
But she has a very high ceiling.
So I should just play Luke Robinson again.
He is very good.
I love him.
I mean, what also could be good is if you play, like, an unconventional fighter who's very good. Mm-hmm. Like, if we give you Daniela Reyes, she's a Guardian Survivor. Mm-hmm. She's a Guardian that upgrades into Survivor. And she has a unique ability where after an enemy attacks her, unless you provoke the attack of opportunity, you can deal 1 damage to that enemy or evade it. And it gives you, like, some different context for, like, how enemy management is. Mm-hmm. I think that's, like, what we just need to... You should probably find someone... I think that's the plan. Should I talk about my Rita deck before we get too far ahead?
I would love that.
Because I think I let you down here with this Rita deck.
What?
I think I did. I think I let the team down because I'm looking at this deck and, like, again, there's a lot of good pieces here. And, like, well, for most of the deck. But there's also some stuff where I was like, you can tell I was filling holes and panicking because I didn't have confidence in my ability to get stuff done.
Yeah.
Right? And, I mean, Rita is a little bit unconventional for how she fights, and I think she is, like, a good investigator, but not a great investigator. And And I think that while the theory held true of she was able to manage some of the threats that Hemlock provides, she's very fragile and could also be she can like get countered by the game pretty easily. For my I was the combat, so I had 2 hatchets, 2 fire axes, 2 sweeping kicks, 2 stunning blows, and 2 long shots. So these are all my things that I would use to like manage enemies in the traditional enemy management way. I think Hatchet's a good card, and I think Rita plays Hatchet very well. But I think that unfortunately it is that same problem where I was too unconventional, and I think you're right, I needed to be more conventional, right? Because if I was just like, I'm going to kill this enemy over 3 turns, right? And you were like, okay, I can start getting some clues, and you get those clues, but then like the amount of time that I put in doesn't match. Like the tempo wasn't good enough to, between the two of us, to be able to succeed going forward. And if I was able to kill things quicker, maybe it meant I could have helped in other ways. But because I was going very slow myself, I think that also subconsciously slowed down the speed that you felt we needed to go in. Because maybe you can tell me if that's a fair assessment or not, but would you say that a lot of your thoughts for how the game is going depends on how I'm reacting to things?
Often, yes.
Yeah, so like if I'm panicking, you start to panic more?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, actually, I hate to say it, but the inverted.
Okay.
The more you panic, the more I'm like, okay, we're screwed. I can just do whatever I want. I can take big, risky, stupid plays and just try to win.
That makes sense, yeah.
And when you're like, things are going all right, I'm like, okay, I can dither a little bit. I can have weird interactions with the board. I can explore strange. I can look at the backs of cards I'm not supposed to.
Because like that's in all fairness. Because like what I'm saying is when I say things are going okay, there's like an asterisk that says underneath, as long as we continue or improve on this pace that we have.
Oh no!
Right? Which is actually that makes total sense in retrospect, right? Because like there is this unsaid thing where it's like, tempo in ARKHAM is fragile, and if we don't keep this, we're gonna fall way behind before we know it. That's really funny though.
Yeah. Every time you said we're doing okay, or we're going up, like, spoilers for the last scenario, but when a flip happened and I got to do a whole bunch of stuff and suddenly had a new board state, and you're like, we're doing good, I was like, great.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about all these negative things filling up my board state.
Yeah. So like how it works is we're doing bad. It's going to be hard for us to get tempo back.
Yeah.
This is scary. This is the turn where we either are going to recover or it's going to become bad, right?
Oh, I thought scary was worse than bad.
No, scary is we're on the edge. Like we're at the point where we either are going to go bad or it's going to be okay.
Yes.
Okay, fine is we have neutral tempo.
Yeah.
Like we're not behind, we're not ahead. Good is we're starting to get ahead, but like that doesn't mean we're like we could fall behind if we stop doing this. And great is it's going to be hard for us to lose this tempo. It's possible, but you know. But this is also just like my...
No, it's so good to know now, because
I mean, I try not to do it too much, but I can read a board state in ARKHAM, like, at least, like, know what could happen. And sometimes ARKHAM can still surprise you, though, which is what's fun. Which, honestly, what happened today.
Yeah.
You drawing the sign, after the thing where I said things are good, I should have after said, wow, things are scary, because that would have been an accurate... I should get, like a thing over here that's just, like, I can slide, like... Where like put like my face on like a thing where
or like a heat level.
Yeah, it's like right now it's fine. You always start fine. But yeah, like these are all good cards, and like I was able to use them to my advantage. But I think that ultimately, I needed to be a bit more focused on making sure that I was able to get things done quicker, because I think that is. I mean, Hemlock is an interesting campaign because it gives you time to explore in theory, but there actually is not a lot of time to explore. They're very tight on the thresholds. And I think that I was a part of the reason why we sometimes got a little bit squashed by that. Rita also has an unconventional ability where she does the evade, so this is like my evade package to come with it. Again, these are all good cards, and everyone agreed these cards are great in Rita. But I still think as a whole... I ultimately didn't provide enough to the team to make it really feel like I was like doing what I was supposed to be doing to get there. And I'm being like, I think you're right. Like, I think I was doing good and I was managing enemies.
Yeah.
But I often say that the best way to get better at Arkham is to make mistakes and realize those mistakes. And I think I did make some mistakes here, especially once we get a little bit deeper into our deck. Because we're starting with the good stuff. And we're about to get into some not so good stuff. Not yet, though. This is economy. These are all really good. Still, though, I felt like my economy was fine, but...
I often felt you were poor, which I wasn't used to seeing.
Yeah.
You never seemed to be hard up for money, but I did notice a couple of turns where you would take $1.
Yeah.
And I was surprised by that, because I've never seen you do that before.
Yeah, it sometimes happens, like, when, like, for example, my economy, this one is kind of depending on other people being there, right? Mm. But, like, I never felt my economy was bad, because, like, if you actually look at it, my deck is actually incredibly low on the curve.
Dirt cheap.
Right? So that's kind of like the sacrifice. When you have a low curve, you sometimes have more turns where you just gain a resource, because you don't need to, like, if you're drawing too many economy cards, you're ultimately wasting draws in the future.
Yeah.
I think I only played this card once, though. This would have been banger in the last scenario if we actually drew it. We had some bad luck in that last scenario.
Oh, yeah.
Lucky 3. Amazing card. Burn After Reading. Good card. Test of Will. I added this card in as kind of just a Mythos protection because the Mythos, the treacheries are actually pretty hard in Hemlock Vale. They exploit the horror and brain pretty well. And then this is what I like to call my panic pile.
Not as big as I expected.
No, but still pretty. There's some questionable choices here. I think Gumption's a good card, but this was here because, again, the treacheries were scary, and this is a way for me to, like, for example, the one that's like, test brain 3 for each point you fail by, do a thing. This reduces it to brain 1, which means you only have to do one of them, which makes it a lot softer. But I think ultimately, again, if I was just like focused on going faster, because like that's what it's really all about. What's the best way to win this game? Drawing less encounter cards.
Yeah.
What's the best way to draw less encounter cards? Win the game 4 turns earlier than everyone else.
Yeah.
Right? Because the faster you win the game, the less time the game has to beat you. And I think instead I just kind of became complacent with the idea of we have time, let's take time. Right? Lure and Bait and Switch I actually put in here to tech for The Longest Night. The Longest Night is one of my favorite Arkham scenarios because it stresses me out. And I panicked and put these in to get those things to make it more manageable. And I actually don't think I ever drew them.
I don't think I saw any of these 3.
I don't think I actually ever drew them or played them because my card draw on this deck was pretty low. But that's also like kind of by design for this because there's a certain special someone, the racists, who are one of the strongest basic weaknesses in the game, and it kind of just means you don't want to be actually drawing cards that much with Rita, which is a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, I think overall I enjoyed that run. That was a very fun campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we had a great time doing it, but I do think that I think I'm going to try to just be a little bit more spiky, hard focus, be less of that exploratory spike where I like try to, it's like the mix of my spike and my Johnny, where I'm like, can I make Rita Young work? I don't know if I can. I don't think she does, but I don't know, maybe this wasn't just it for her. But
I have a hot take with Rita, actually.
Yeah.
I think if you're building a Rita fighter, ideally we would have not been flexes.
Agreed. I think that's very smart.
Because I think Hood stops being a threat if you're really good at killing.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
Yeah. And I was thinking about that when you were talking about being afraid of drawing Hoods and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I was just like, if we weren't flex decks, I bet Hoods wouldn't be as big a problem. They're tough, but you could just kill them.
The downside with this, though, I agree with you completely. The problem is that most of the way that she fights is with dirty fighting. Mm-hmm. She evades them and attacks, but anytime you evade the Hood, it attacks you.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of good conventional fighting methods that she can take advantage of with her three fist. But you're 100% right. If I could maybe find like Teslas damage or ways to lock an enemy down, because there is that. If I was just better at enemy management, I would be able to include more card draw because I'd be less scared of the Hoods. I think you're 100% right with that.
Well, I think the same with my deck, too. Like, I had some cards that, in theory, helped me pick up investigation, but I needed better card draw so that I could get to the cards that helped me with more investigation so that I could investigate faster.
Yeah.
I can remember a couple of scenarios where I just kind of sat there like, I'm just waiting to get the cards.
Yeah, and there was also a lot of time where this happens a lot with actually like rogues. I see with people playing rogues, I see it happen. experienced and new players alike, where you would have 4 book, but you don't have a lot of ways to consistently boost your book. So you're kind of just like, you see a 3-shot location, and you're like, I guess I'll investigate up 1. And like that doesn't really like work in the long term.
Especially not as every choice I made the encounter deck worse.
Made it harder. Yeah. I mean, yeah, once again, Hemlock's a very interesting one with how it scales. I think like this group would have been fine in like Innsmouth Conspiracy, which is probably going to be the next campaign we play. So that's a very interesting campaign too, though. They'll have such weird intricacies about all of them, which makes it very compelling. All right, well, in the meantime, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. Tomorrow, we're going to be having Eric's Feast of Hemlock Vale retrospective. So we're going to be actually recording that right away. So we're going to be wearing the same clothes. Wow.
I'll take this off.
I'll put this on. Invisible jacket.
Just put skin over shirt.
Yeah. Let's go. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Bye.